Hi everyone, I just want to make a follow-up video to my first NCase M3 Round review. There are a few things that I learned while having this case, whether that's from reading the subreddit or the comments that you guys have posted. One of the first things I want to clarify and mention is that at first I mentioned the wobble here, but that's because I didn't install this fan bracket on top. Once you install a fan bracket on top, it secures it. It doesn't wobble. So if you're worried about that, having this fan bracket either on top or in the front will fix that issue. The second thing I want to mention is that this fan bracket can be installed in the front, but if you do so, you have to remove these foam pads. I don't know why they didn't just have these blank and in the instructions tell you to add these foam pads in if you want to install a fan bracket on top, because they include extra foam pads. That's a small nitpick, but I don't know why they decided to go with that. Another thing is, I see people asking about whether this can fit an AIO on top. You can. This space right here, you can shift the motherboard down. At least in my case, I can shift it down probably 2 more slots. And in that case, if you take the space here, you have like around this much space for an AIO on top. But that does mean that if you decide to put a M-ATX board in here, you're definitely not going to be able to fit an AIO on top. You can possibly fit an AIO on the front. I'm pretty sure that will work. You just have to play around with the cable and moving them everywhere to make sure it fits. But if you're not air-cooled, you won't have this part, so the front bracket should be able to work in that situation. Another thing that I noticed is that these holes on bottom are big. I forgot to mention it, but these holes are big. Like you see right here, this brown part, that's my table. Yeah, that means a lot of dust can just go straight in. And if you have fans like I do on the bottom here, that is just pulling dust straight into your computer. They do sell dust mesh kits, I believe is what it's called, but those are in the description. They just mentioned there for the top and front. I'm not sure if you can put them on the bottom, but at least for now, I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna monitor my computer, see how dusty it gets. It could just be the environment you're in. If you live in a more dusty area, then obviously your computer's gonna have more dust inside. So I'll see how it is in the months or weeks to come. And if need be, I'll just go on Amazon or something and just buy some sort of mesh and figure out how to put it down here and block it. But the side panels shouldn't have an issue. As you can see, they are pretty small holes. And if you have the fans pulling air from the bottom or top, you shouldn't be having too much dust coming in. What else? Oh yeah, another thing I want to mention is that if you see right here, there are gaps where the back IO plate is and the graphics card is. If it bothers you, right, you can put something here. They sell these bracket things that you can use to block these holes here. It really bothers you. For me, I don't really mind it. I'm not pulling air from the back of my case inward, so air should be coming out from this air cooler anyway. But that's just something I forgot to mention in my last review, is that if it bothers you, yeah, these holes are gonna be here. So unless you have like, I don't know, one of the older 4-slot GPUs or whatever to take up the whole space, you're gonna have a gap here. And then here depends on how you mount the motherboard. If you mount it all the way at the very top, you're not gonna have a gap there, but you'll have one here. And then, yeah, I'm not even sure if you do that, this motherboard, this graphics card just won't fit. But yeah, that's another issue that I want to mention. There is another thing I want to mention too that I saw on the subreddit, was people are asking about getting a 5090 to fit in here in this round case specifically, because in the front there are these IO ports and a button here that takes up space, so it pushes it backward like this much. If you look here, you can probably see it there. This part right here. So if your motherboard goes all the way to the front, just right here, this will interfere with it if you have the motherboard at the bottom. I saw some people having that issue there, and people just mentioned you just like literally just flip the case upside down, you build it upside down. Or I believe another person said if you don't want to build the PC case in an inverted upside down layout, you can actually rotate this around upside down. These are pretty much the same holes in top and bottom. So if that's the issue, just rotate upside down. There's nothing blocking you here, so you can have the GPU go all the way from the end to the front. And going back to the earlier topic about how there's no dust cover and you can pull dust in easily, I think, I'm not sure how to run into this issue, but I saw some people mention that you might want to buy the bigger feet so the PC sits a little higher and it's pulling more air in. I don't know how much of an effect that is, but I just wanted to mention that to you guys in case you guys run these cases with like maxed out parts where you're running a 5090 and whatever maxed out GPU you have, overclocked, etc. And one small nitpick I wanted to mention was that because the power supply is inside the physical case, if you want to toggle the switch on and off here, you're going to have to take off the top of the case. Not that big of an issue. I don't think a lot of people are going to be doing that, but that's just something I also didn't realize until I needed to turn it off or on rather after I put the case together. I assembled everything and I realized I need to switch this power supply to be in the on position, and I had to unscrew the top and take it off. But that's something that you're probably not going to run into much often. I think once you leave this on, most people just leave it on forever. And yeah, that pretty much sums up the video I want to make. I just wanted to make a few mention of those. Obviously, if you guys have any other questions that I didn't cover or I haven't run into, please feel free to comment them in this video. I'll get to them as fast as I can. Or if you want to see anything specific, I can make another follow-up video of that with all the other questions people have and just go into more details on those. But yeah, again, overall, I really like this case. It's nice. Like the only one downside I also forgot to mention was that I did contact support about the issue with the gash on this fan bracket. They responded back to provide details like pictures or videos about it. I sent it in last week. I haven't heard anything back about it, so I'm not exactly sure whether they're ignoring me or not. I sent a follow-up email to them, so hopefully they get back to me. At the very least, I'm expecting some response to be like, hey, this is well within spec. We can't do anything about it. But I don't know. I'm just going to give the benefit of the doubt that because they're in Germany, a time difference, everything, or at least I think they're in Germany, that they haven't had time to get back to me. And, they're probably busy fulfilling orders or something. I don't know. I just trying to give the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, overall though, it doesn't affect functionality of this case whatsoever. This case works as advertised. But yeah, do keep that in mind. If you do have to contact customer support, that you might not be able to get a timely response or issue resolved as fast as you like. But yeah, hope everyone has a good day. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any other questions.